Right. Good morning, everyone. All online students, is that the screen is visible? All the online students, could you please everyone respond in the chat window? I request all the online students need to respond in the chat window. Okay, perfect, guys. Let's get started then. Okay. So the one we have been discussing about these particular important concepts here. That is what we have been discussing about this particular perspective of frameworks concepts here, right? As part of this particular respective frameworks concept, as part of this particular perspective of the frameworks, we got hybrid framework, and then we got POM framework, and now we have to understand this particular cucumber framework. So before getting started with the cucumber framework, first we'll understand that how exactly the cucumber framework has been came into the picture. Because already we have a hybrid framework. Not only hybrid, we got an a POM also. As hybrid framework is available and POM is available, then how exactly this particular cucumber has been came into the picture? Let's see that. Let's look into that. Further, here, while working any automation tool, it can be any kind of automation tool or any kind of the framework. Any kind of automation tool or any kind of that particular framework. It will be having some limitations. We got some limitations. If I'm just taking with these particular limitations, if I'm just taking with this particular perspective of limitations, okay. Now, see the concept here, which we got this particular automation tool or framework. If we got any limitations, what exactly the common limitations is? First, understanding from client perspective. Okay. If I'm just taking with from client perspective, right? Frameworks are not easily understandable. Okay, see the concept, guys. From client perspective, frameworks are not easily understandable. Okay, so the meaning of the statement is clients always they were into the process level, more into the process. Technical, they will not be worried, they will not be looking into that. So if you consider this framework, like our hybrid framework or PVM framework, we created multiple folders and then got in a different type of connectivity. A lot of things we have been done. Right? So as we got these particular things here, which we can say that from the client perspective, frameworks are not easily understandable. If you think about client perspective, not tester. Tester can easily understand because as a tester, we are the technical persons, we can understand all the connectivity and everything here. Okay, so in the same way, it will be taking within the next one. We are able to generate the reports. HTML reports we got, Allure reports we got, Jenkins reports we got. But if we compare any of these particular reports, there is nowhere of the connectivity for manual step and automation step. For which manual step, which automation step is created? For which manual step, which automation step has been created, we are not having any connectivity. So here, if we look into this, not able to provide mapping between manual step and automation step. So not able to provide mapping between manual step and automation step. Okay, and the next one. We are developing automation script based on manual test case. But if we look into our framework, in any of that particular framework, in the framework itself, we are not able, we are not able to maintain any of that particular manual test cases. In the framework itself, we are not able to maintain any of that particular manual test cases. Okay, right. Let's see here. So further, what we'll be doing? So the another limitation is not able to provide manual test cases. Manual test cases in framework. In the framework itself, we are not able to provide manual test cases. So these are the some common limitations. So to get overcome these particular limitations, you will be taking with the help of Cucumber. To get overcome these particular limitations, which you will be taking with the help of that particular Cucumber. Okay, so Cucumber you can consider as a one tool. So while working with the Cucumber itself, it is having its own framework that it will be taking with BDD framework. So Cucumber itself, it got its own framework, which it will be taking with BDD framework. So the meaning of BDD mentioning that behavior driven development. The meaning of BDD mentioning that behavior driven development. So framework concept is same. Any kind of the framework in common, in general, if I'm taking with the framework, what will be the framework definition? So which will be taking with this particular framework definition. If I'm just taking with that particular framework definition, we can say that creation of folder structure with the standard rules. What are the folders need to be created? What are the standard rules need to be followed? It depends on that particular project requirement, or it will depends on that particular client requirement. Now, while working with the Cucumber also as part of the BDD framework itself, it got its own standards. What are that particular standards need to be followed as part of the BDD framework? Let's see here. Right. So what are all that particular framework standards need to be get followed? In that, while working this particular Cucumber, So while working this particular perspective of cucumber, first it will be having future file. First one is it will be taking with future file. Okay. Then it will be taking with. So what is mean by future file? We'll be discussing it. So what exactly mean by that particular future file? We'll be discussing it here. So here as simple, first one we got in a future file. Next we got step definition file. Step definition file. Then it will be taking with test run file. These are the three main things here. Okay. So one is it will be taking with this particular one, which it will be mentioning that it will be taking with these particular respective steps here. Right? So if I'm just taking with this particular one, which it will be mentioning that it will be taking with these particular respective steps here. So which we can say that, which we can mentioning that it will be taking with this particular one. Okay. So just these three standards need to be followed. But what is these things here? These are the terminologies. Okay. But what exactly these particular things? Right? So if I'm just taking with this particular one, first one, it will be taking with the first one, it will be mentioning that which it will be taking with future file. So the purpose of the future file is in simple, we can say that to provide. Okay. So to provide manual test steps here. To provide that particular manual test steps here. Right. So to get provide that particular manual test step, it will be taking with this particular perspective of future file here. So this is what it will be taking with this particular one as simple. Let me give a clear description here. To provide manual steps for developing automation scripts. To see the understanding, guys. So while working within the BDD framework, in the framework itself, you are providing that particular manual steps. So how you will be creating this file? In case of JavaScript file, you are giving the extension is .js. In case of TypeScript file, you are giving the extension is .ts. In case of Playwright, you are providing .spec.ts. In the same way, in case of the future file, you are giving with the extension is that will be taking with .future, which you are providing that particular extension that it will be taking with this particular respective one. Okay, right. Just 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute. Done. So here, if I just go with this particular future file, which it will be mentioning that to provide manual steps for developing automation script. So how you are creating with the future file, you are just providing with the extension is dot future. Okay. Now, how you will be able to provide these particular manual steps? So whenever you want to create manual test cases, as you done with the manual testing, in case of that particular manual test cases, you need to follow certain template here. In a similar way, while working with the cucumber also, you need to be get follow with the template. That is what which it will be taking with that particular jerkin language. We are using with the terminology which it will be saying that it will be mentioning that it will be taking with the jerkin language here. So what is the meaning of this particular jerkin language? What is the meaning of this particular jerkin language is we can mention that using the keyword. The meaning of this particular jerkin language is using that particular keyword. Okay, we can say that now using the keyword. Using the keyword of given, when, and then. So these are the keywords. So in this, if I'm just take with this particular one, given keyword, meaning of given keyword is precondition for test case. Precondition for test case. When keyword, test case step. Oh. So test case step to be performed. Next, then keyword. Okay, so that we can say that expected result. Expected result for test case. Expected result for test case. See that. So while working this particular one, while working with the future file, in future file, you have to maintain the manual test cases. So how you are maintaining with the manual test cases? By using this jerkin language. What is the meaning of the jerkin language? Using the keyword of given and then when and then. So when you're writing with the manual steps by using these particular keyword, that I will be taking with future file. So how to write that I will be explaining. Then I will be taking with step definition file. This particular step definition file, as usual, you will be taking with .ts only. Step definition file, you will be mentioning that that particular .ts, which I will be taking with that particular ts file. Okay, done. After that, I will be taking with. Next, I will be having this particular, which I will be mentioned .ts. So what is the use of this? The use of this particular one, we can say that. See here. To provide. To provide all reusable methods, or I will be taking with the functions based on future file. Because in future file, what you are maintaining? Manual steps here. So you are maintaining with the manual steps based on that particular manual steps. Based on that particular manual steps, you have to come up with in providing that particular reusable methods here. Okay, right. Right, guys. Okay. So now we got that particular perspective of step definition. Okay, done. So now you will be taking with this particular option, which you will be taking with this particular step definition 5. See here. You will be taking with to provide all reusable methods, or you will be taking with the functions based on future file. Okay, right. So now still if you want to understand in a simple way, for understanding purpose, I can say that which is similar, which is I can say that equal to general.ts in hybrid framework. So while working the hybrid framework, we discussed about this particular file name of general.ts. In general.ts, what we have been done, we got maintained all that particular reusable methods in that particular general.ts. In the same way, while working this particular BDD framework also, we are maintaining the step definition file. The terminology, we are saying that step definition file. That is nothing but .ts file only. In that particular file, you will be maintaining all reusable methods here. And finally, we got that particular tester run file here. If I'm taking with this particular perspective of tester run file, if I just go with this particular tester run file, we can say that this is which I will be considering that, okay, to execute one, or I will be taking with multiple. To execute one, or I will be taking with multiple automation scripts. To execute one or multiple automation scripts. One or multiple automation scripts based on future file, because everything it got a connectivity for future file only. The reason in future file you maintain the manual test step, because of that everything it got a connectivity with future file only. So this is what I will be taking with your first understanding why this cucumber came into the picture and how we need to implement with the cucumber here. Now, particularly while working with the playwright, no concept of tester run file. In general, according to the BDD framework, or as part of that particular cucumber, we have to go with test run file. But particularly while working with the playwright, no concept of test run file. No concept of test run file. Okay, which is right. In place of that, in place of, in place of that, we are using npx commands. So we are for the execution while working with the playwright, we'll be using that particular npx, right? So the same thing here. So as part of this particular cucumber, that particular program execution, you will be taking with the help of that particular respective of npx commands here. So in this way, you will be taking with these particular respective steps. So this is what you will be mentioning, that you will be taking with these particular respective steps here, right? So this you will be mentioning that BDD framework. So as part of interview, you need to comfortable in explaining these three things here. But while working with the playwright, you will not be explaining the test run file. In a place of that, you need to be get go with npx commands. Now let's go with the whole setup. But again, for doing all these particular setup, you have to go with the installations here. You have to do that particular installations for installations, right? So for installations, you will be taking with these particular respective steps need to be followed. So all that particular steps very clearly have been documented. All that particular steps very clearly have been documented. So while you guys has been taking with the practice, you need to follow the same steps here. The same step as it is, you need to be get follow. Okay, let's see here. Let's look into that. Now here, cucumber is a tool name. In that particular tool, BDD is the framework name here. Okay. Now, let's see that how we can work. So while working with the cucumber tool, we cannot work with only that particular cucumber tool. We have to work with combination, either cucumber with the selenium or cucumber with the playwright or cucumber with the cypress. We can work with different combinations. For now, we are working with cucumber with the playwright. Cucumber with playwright. So let's see that how exactly we can go with this particular one. Okay, let's look into this. Guys, is that audible, guys? Okay, right. Right, guys. So now in this particular workspace, I was just creating one particular folder. So previously we created with the folder related to that particular hybrid. So previously we got created with the folder related to that particular hybrid. Then you will be taking with the folder which you will be taking with that particular one, which you will be taking with this particular folder. Let me create a folder here. Right. Uh, this will create one folder. Open 7. Okay. I'll just create one folder. 77 batch underscore cucumber. Okay. So once folder is created, it will be getting reflected in that particular VS Code. So which you will be taking with the help of VS Code. Now we can see 77 batch cucumber that I'm taking with the right click, which I will be taking with open in integrated terminal. So now we have to go with that particular installations. So how exactly we can do with the installations? Just follow the same steps, guys. You need to begin follow that particular same steps only. Let's see here. If I'm taking with this particular step, first I will be taking with npm init y. This is, it will initialize that particular cucumber structure. For the project, it will be initializing that particular cucumber structure. This is what the first command you need to be get executed, which I will be taking with npm init y. Now we can see here. Okay, done. Now if we just look into that, it has been created with the file name called as a package.json. So in that particular package.json, what is our project? 77 batch cucumber. For that particular cucumber, it has been created that particular structure. This is the first step. This is the first installation you have to do. Now what we are working? We are working cucumber with playwright. Not only cucumber, not only playwright. We are working with the combination along with the TypeScript. Along with the TypeScript. Let's see here. Let's see that how we can do that. So for that, you will be taking with the command npm install playwright test along with the playwright cucumber along with the cucumber TypeScript. So the TypeScript is working based on the Node.js. This everything is a one particular single command only. This everything is one particular single command. So npm node package manager, npm node package manager. Okay. So now you need to begin go with the same command, which you need to begin go with. You will be taking with this particular respective of command. Let's see here. As it is, I'm doing it. I'm just installing that particular command, which I will be taking with installation. I will be taking with these particular respective commands here. Okay. Let's see here. We'll just click on enter. Let's take the installation. So it's not like directly you are installing the playwright. You are installing Cucumber with the playwright. You need to be a little bit careful with the setup. So in case of the versions like Node.js version, Cucumber version, Also not matching it. Sometimes it will be giving an error, but we'll see that. Let's try on that. So first we'll be taking with this particular installation has been done. Okay. So now you can see here, once that particular installation is completed, you got in a node underscore modules related to the playwright. There is no concept of playwright config file, all those things here. We are working with the respective of the BDD framework only. While working with the BDD framework, we are taking with the help of the playwright related methods here. Okay. Next, one more installation need to be done. Then you will be taking with, after that, we have to install that particular dependencies related to these particular playwright, sorry, related to these particular cucumber, what exactly that particular dependencies has been required, we need to be get install that particular dependencies. That you will be taking with installing that particular dependencies here. Okay. After that, you will be taking with this particular respective of one more command that you will be taking with npx playwright install. So here you are not using npm, npx, node package executor, node package executor. Okay, you are installing that. So this is what you need to be get complete all the installation steps. After that, you have to create folder structure. Like how you are working with the different type of folders with the respective of the hybrid framework and then PYM framework. In the same way, we need to create some folders. See that what are the folders we are creating. First, I'm creating one particular folder, creating with the folder name that I will be taking with the future. Okay, which I will be taking with the folder name that I will be taking with the future. One folder. And then we are creating one more particular folder, which I will be creating with the folder name that I will be taking with step definition. So one folder is future and one folder is steps. Under the future folder, you are creating with the file. You are creating with the file. That is what you are maintaining your manual steps by giving with the extension dot future. By giving with the extension is dot future. Under the steps folder, you are creating with the file. You are creating with the file mention that general.ts. And these folders need to have a connectivity. So how you will be taking with the connectivity? So how you will be taking with that particular respective connectivity, that will be discussing it here. Okay, so for that, what we have to do for your folder structure, for the framework, we created two folders. One is futures folder, another one is steps folder. And apart from that, the extra files need to be created, that is ts.config. See here. This is the exact folder structure. Futures and then steps. File name can be anything, but whenever you are taking with the connectivity, you need to have a proper connectivity. Now we required cucumber.json. Look into this project. Do we have a file name of cucumber.json here? No. So there is no file name of cucumber.json. Create that file. You will be taking with the new file, which you will be mentioning that cucumber.json. Cucumber.json. You have to write that code. That particular code you can copy from the PDF file only. I have been clearly mentioned what is that particular code need to be used. Okay, you doesn't require to make any changes. You can go with as it is. You can go with as it is. What is the use of this particular code? What is the use of this particular code is, see here. You created with the folder, futures folder. It's need to be get connectivity with the Cucumber. For that, cross check the file names. What is the folder name? Steps in a small letters. Under the steps folder, it's required in a .ts file. See your project, folder name is the steps only. Under the .ts file is there. Correct. Now what it has to do? After execution, it's need to generate the HTML Cucumber report. After completion of the execution, it's need to be get generate that particular HTML Cucumber report need to be get generated. Okay, done. Right. Next, futures file. FEATURES. This is capital letter. Let me change it. FEATURES. Okay. Futures. Under the futures folder, you got a file name. You got an extension dot future. We provided with the extension is you will be taking with the dot future. This is what the connectivity. Cucumber JSON and your folders got an connectivity. So that is what the one file cucumber.json. After that, you will be taking with tsconfig. Okay, then it will be taking with tsconfig. So in the tsconfig, you need to be get provide that particular code. So tsconfig, see here. So if I'm just taking with, it will be creating with the new file. Now I'm providing tsconfig, tsconfig dot. So what should be the extension? See here. You need to be get go with that .json. See here, I clearly mentioned .json. So right click, new file, tsconfig.json. Okay, so we'll be providing that particular code. So here you are giving TS means TypeScript configuration. So TypeScript standards you are giving it. These are the TypeScript technical standards. So if I'm taking this ES6, like you will be having IEEE standards will be there, right? Whenever you are taking any documentation, IEEE standards will be there. In the same way, while working with the TypeScript also, you will be having that particular TypeScript coding standards. That is what we mentioned. And the next one you will be taking with package.json. So that particular package.json, which you will be taking with that particular respective one. So in the package.json, just need to mention that Cucumber.js. Let's see here, package.json already available. At the time of installation only this is created. So further, we are making with the changes of only the path of the test, Cucumber JSON. That's it. Now see the connectivity. At the time of execution, how it will execute? You given the command is the script, test folder. Test. What is the file name? Cucumber.js. Okay, Cucumber.js. Okay, so which I will be taking with that particular Cucumber.js. It will come to that particular Cucumber.json file. In the Cucumber.json file, it is referring with the steps folder. It's referring with the future folder. In the futures folder, we got a future file. In the future file, we are maintaining manual step. According to the manual steps, you will be taking with developing the automation script. So previously, the previous framework, manual test case is maintained in the different place, automation scripts is maintained in the different place. But now In the framework itself, you are able to maintain the manual test cases, you are able to maintain with the automation script. So how you will maintain the manual step? By using Jerkin language. How you are using with the Jerkin language? First, you will be taking with the future, providing project name. Then it will be taking with test case, which it will be taking with that particular test case number, the test case ID will be provided, which it will be taking with that particular test case ID, right? So which you need to be get provide, which it will be taking with that particular respective of test case ID. Okay, so after that, what it will be doing, which it will be taking with this particular scenario. Scenario is nothing but test case description. Scenario is nothing but test case description. Okay, so that particular scenario, which I will be taking with the test case description, first I'm automating the simple test case, that is open browser, which we can say that open application, and then close application. I'm just automating with the very simple test case, open application, close application. So what are the steps I have to follow? For that, first I need to go with launch browser and then enter URL. After that, launch browser, which I will be taking with enter URL, then it will be taking with close browser. But according to the future file, whatever the manual steps are there, every manual step, it's required in a keyword. So what is that particular keyword? It will be taking with the given keyword. Why we are using these keywords? So once your execution has been done, in the report, it will be taking with the mapping. In the framework, this keyword only, it will be taking with the connectivity for your manual step and automation step, right? Which it will be taking with given keyword, when keyword, then keyword. Now this is the manual step. What is the first manual step? We got launch browser. As it is, for the same manual step, you have to maintain your automation script in step definition file. So how you will maintain automation script? Let's see here. First, you will be importing that particular model. Because of we are working with the cucumber, it will be taking with that particular cucumber related keywords. Along with the cucumber, we are working with the playwright. Along with the cucumber, we are working with the playwright. So while working with the playwright, first I'm taking with browser model and then taking with this particular respective of page model. Along with that, it will be taking with that particular respective of Chromium. Along with the Chromium, we got browser, we got in a page, and then taking with that particular Chromium. Okay, so this is what we have been importing this particular respective of it will be taking with the playwright. So while working that particular respective of playwright, we need to be get go with in importing these particular respective models here. So this is what it will be taking with that particular one from. It will be taking with at the rate, it will be taking with playwright test. Okay, so you're working with the combination of we are working that particular respective of the combination of it will be taking with these particular steps here. So both we have been imported. Okay. Since this first time initializing this particular browser. In the same way, I will be initializing the page. Okay, this is in a capital B. For capital B, I'm taking the small b. For the capital P, I assigned with the small p. By that, whenever I record, I will be using that particular small p. Now, what is the first future file? What is the first manual step? Launch browser. What is the keyword? Given. The same keyword I'm mentioning. This is where you will be taking with the connectivity. This is where you will be taking with the connectivity. For your manual step and for your automation step, you will get a connectivity. Okay. So here, first I need to be provide the manual step. What I mention in that particular future file, including capital letter, small letter you have to mention, then only it will be working it. Okay. Then you will be taking with these particular respective steps here. So which you will be taking with these particular respective one, you will be mentioning that you will be taking with this particular respective code. So this is we are already knowing it. So you want to launch with the browser manually, you will be taking with the chromium.launch, you will be taking with the headless as a false, which you will be taking with that particular respective browser which you will be taking with this particular page. Okay. So this is what you will be writing it. Okay. So which you will be taking with this particular browser. Okay. But before this, what we have to do, we need to be go with, you will be adding one more code that you will be taking with context because it has to open the new tab, right? So first it has to initialize with the browser. After that, it's need to be go with this particular one, which it will be taking with this particular respective step of CYNST. Right. So which you will be taking with that particular first, you are initializing that particular browser. Once you got initialized with that particular browser, which you will be taking with that particular one, which you will be taking with new tab. In the new tab, you will be taking with that particular new page here. So this is which it will be launching with the browser. Once it got launched with the browser, what is the next step? Enter URL. As it is, I'm using it. Now I will be writing with the one more method. Here, whatever the future file is there, based on that particular future file, you have to maintain that particular method, which I will be taking with the when keyword. For that, I will be mentioning that enter URL. So to enter that particular URL, whatever that particular application URL is there, we have to provide that particular application URL. For easy understanding, I'm just taking with only open the application and close the application. That is what I'm performing. I just print with the statement. Okay, so here, if required, for the confirmation, I'm just printing the statement console.log application is open. Application is open. And after that, what we got? So whatever the manual steps you written, it's mandatory that you have to maintain that automation methods. You written 3 steps. For 3 steps, the 3 methods should be there. If you written 10 steps, the 10 steps related 10 methods has to be available. That is what the connectivity. That is what the connectivity we got, which you will be taking with close browser. Then you will be taking with then keyword, which you will be taking with this particular step. Close browser. Okay, so this is what you will be mentioning that you will be maintaining all the methods. Now We got how many steps we got? 3 steps we got. For the 3 steps, we got that particular relevant methods. We got that particular launch browser, enter URL, close browser. Now we need to go with the execution. So how you will be executed, which you will be taking with that particular whole test suite it can get executed, or it can get executed that particular individual automation script. So both the options we got it. Either you can go with the whole test cases, nothing but test suite, npm run test, that's it. Otherwise, you will be taking with this particular individual test case. So first I will be taking with individual test case here. See here, npx cucumber hyphen js. Cucumber hyphen js. Because for your project, you have any cucumber js file is there. Nothing but cucumber.json file is there. It will refer that file. In that, it will be taking with the tag, which will be taking with tag. So what is that particular tag? At the rate TC001. This tag where it has to match it, it's need to match with the future file. So TC001, TC001, it is matching. Then it's need to able to execute that particular test case. Let's see here. That is okay, guys. We'll get in a problem with that compatibility. Okay. Just to get a understanding of how exactly that particular cucumber will be working it, I'm just taking with the previous batch execution. I'll just go with the previous batch execution. All the concept is same. I'm just taking with the previous batch execution because that compatibility is there. I'll look into that. See here. So just to understand how the results will be generated with the respective of the cucumber, that you will be getting in a clear picture. So it's need to be get able to get open with the application and to get close the application. So see the result here. It is clearly mentioning that one scenario has been passed, which will be taking 3 steps here. You can refer this particular HTML report. If you just refer that particular HTML report, 68 batch cucumber, see the HTML report. Reports folder, cucumber report. Now, if you think about client perspective, client can easily understand, okay, this is the manual step. For these particular manual steps, automation has been completed. So in this way, you will be able to see that particular cucumber HTML report. Every framework, it got its own significance. Every framework, it got its own importance here. Which framework need to be get used, it will depends on that particular client requirement, or it will depends on that particular project requirement. Based on that particular project requirement, or based on that particular client requirement, it will be taking with these particular respective steps here. So in this way, it will be taking with these particular respective steps here. Right? So just you guys can follow this particular PDF file very clearly have been documented. So everything you may get in a correct, only sometimes you will be getting in a problem with the compatibility, but all the structure you have to be get comfortable here. So the whole conclusion is First future file, step definition file. Future file, you will maintain manual step definition file, you will be taking its related methods here. We'll automate one more test case, then you will be getting with the more clear picture how exactly this particular one is Cucumber is working it. So tomorrow also session is there, guys. There is no holiday. Tomorrow we have a session. Tomorrow I'll take one more test case. Tomorrow we'll try to complete this particular Cucumber, and after that we'll be getting started that API testing. After API testing, we'll be taking with the database testing, and then we'll be taking with that particular AI concepts here. So in real time, is it mandatory to be required these many frameworks? Means it depends. It depends on that particular project. But as part of interview, as part of learning, always it is suggestible that to have all these three particular frameworks here. Okay? Clear everyone? Right. So just slight confusion will be there while taking with the practice, but you can follow the steps what I have been given. So then you will be able to take with the practice on that here. All right. Okay. Any questions? You guys can carry on your questions. Yes, Audita, you can carry on your question.
Like earlier, you mentioned like general.ts, we would be having more, I mean, the complexity whenever the code is getting changed or not. So we are using the same general.ts in the Cucumber also.
No, no. No,
So
for your
do we-
understanding purpose, I mentioned that. It's not like here you will maintain only one class. We can maintain multiple classes. So as you are already knowing the hybrid framework, to get
Hmm.
an easy understanding how you maintain the methods. So for that particular purpose, I have been given that particular file name there. Okay?
Okay, so we can utilize like a page object model as well, right? Instead of
Yes,
there.
yes, yes. We can.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Hello, hello, sir.
Yes.
Could you please explain that future files, dot future file? One second.
Oh. So this is
Hmm.
future is be providing your project name, or we can mention test case name. In general, we can provide that project, which project you are automating.
That is keyword. Future is also keyword.
Mm. Yes, all these are the keywords only. Everything is a keyword here. And then you
Okay.
provided the test case ID. Then scenario means your test case description, which test case you are automating, the description you provided.
Description. Hmm.
Then you are mentioning that manual steps. What are the manual steps you want to automate? That you will be taking that manual steps in.
I mean,
Okay.
when do we use these keywords? I mean, for which step we use given and when is keyword is used? So,
That is what I clearly explain here. See here. If you are taking with the given you can consider like in a precondition for the test case. Like any test case, what is the precondition? Opening the browser is like in a precondition. That is what you will be taking the first. When keyword is whatever your test steps are there, that you will be taking with the when keyword. Then keyword is expected result. Most of the time, the last step we will be taking closing with the browser. So that we have been mentioned in that particular keyword. So these are the three general I mean, the criteria, but not like mandatory that it will be followed with the same criteria. According to the Cucumber, you required any keywords here. For every manual step, you required one keyword. So which keyword you want to mention? If you mention any keyword also, it doesn't make any problem. Okay.
and second steps for is this file name line number 2?
Test case ID, you required a test case ID, right? Because at the time of execution, which test case it has to be executed, you need to be mentioned in the command. Now, if you see here, so now I mentioned TC001. So this test case ID, this test case ID, if it is matching it, then it will start executing these particular test steps here.
Then a future one, first step. Both are same.
Okay.
Okay. Future is the file name. HRMS you are given.
Future is the project name, which project you are automating. In
That
that
is
particular
constant for all the files.
whatever the project name you are required, you mention that project name.
I mean, we'll automate more test cases now, sir. So future is the same for application name for all the
Yes,
test cases.
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, sir.
right. Next. Yes, Akshay, carry on.
Sir, just to be clear, like you said, tomorrow there will be session, but in the last morning session, you said there will be no session. The session directly will be on the Thursday, right? Tuesday?
No, no, no. Repeat the question again.
Like in the like previous session, like around 8, you said there will be no session tomorrow. And
Tomorrow
directly
there is,
session.
I'm saying that tomorrow session is there. Tomorrow, I mentioned tomorrow there is no holiday. Tomorrow session is there. That is what I mentioned.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Next. Okay, guys. Please take care about the practice. Meet you tomorrow then. Thank you.